Hi friends! So today we're going to learn how can we use the Pythagorean Theorem to help us solve for unknown side lengths A and B. So we're first going to go over if we don't know A, and then the next one we're going to go over what happens if we don't know B. This is pretty much the same exact thing that we have been doing. However, there is a bit more steps you have to do in solving the equation, but this should be familiar to you. So let's get started. So here we have our right triangle, and we need to identify A, B, and C. So we're going to do A, B, C. So remember, I always said C is the easiest variable to identify. C is the hypotenuse. C is opposite 90-degree angle. So here's the 90-degree angle. So C is 5, right? C is right here, right? A, B, C. So C is 5. And then A is just A. And then B is 4. Remember, A and B don't matter. But in this case, you can just follow my diagram. All right, let's input these values into the equation. So A is just A, so be A squared plus B is 4, 4 squared equals, and then C is 5, so 5 squared. So now we have to clean this up. So first let's get rid of the exponents. So A squared, we cannot get rid of that, so we gotta leave that because we don't know what A is. So A squared plus, then we're going to do 4 squared. Use your calculator. 16 equals, and then 5 squared. And that's 25. Perfection. Now, remember, we are solving for A right now. However, A is not alone. You have to make sure A is alone. So in order to make A alone, we have to get rid of this positive 16. So in order to get rid of something, you have to undo it. So the opposite of plus 16 is minus 16. So I'm going to subtract 16 on both sides of my equation. That goes away. So now I'm left with A squared equals 25 minus 16. That'll give me 9. And you might think, oh, look, I'm done. Nope, we are not done because this is A squared. We don't want A squared, we just want A. So remember, in order to undo a square, you have to take the square root of both sides. Very important. So now, the square root and the squared, they kind of cancel each other out, just like the plus and the minus cancels each other out. So we are left with A equals the square root of 9. You can use your Desmos calculator or Google Chrome calculator, is 3. So there's my answer, A equals 3. So over here, A is 3 inches, okay? And that's how you solve for A. B is the exact same way. We're gonna quickly do B. So I'm just gonna erase all this, erase this, and let's do one more example, because the shorter these videos are, the better you guys pay attention, right? Okay, so here we're gonna make this 8 inches, I'm gonna make this 16 inches, and then I'm gonna make this B. Alrighty, so here's my right triangle. Now let's solve for B. This side is 8 inches, my hypotenuse is 16 inches, so how long would B be? So we need to first identify A, B, C. So A, B, C. Remember, the easiest one to identify is C. It's opposite the 90-degree angle. C, C. So C is 16. And then A is 8. B is just B. Okay? Now we put these numbers into my Pythagorean theorem. So A is 8, so it's going to be 8 squared plus B is just B, so that'll be B squared, equals, and C is 16, so that would be 16 squared. All right? Now we need to get rid of the squared. We need to clean up our equation before we're going to solve it. So let's do this. So 8 squared, we're going to do 8 squared is 64 plus, we can't do B squared because we don't know what B is, so B squared must stay alone, equals, and then let's do 16 squared. That's 256. 256. All right. Now remember, we need B alone. B currently is not alone. B has a positive 64 with it. So we need to get rid of this positive 64. So with equations, remember what you do on one side, you have to do on the other side, and you have to do the opposite. So the opposite of a plus 64 is minus 64. So we're going to subtract 64 on both sides. That cancels each other out. So now we're left with b squared equals 256 minus 64. So we'll put that in our calculator. 256 minus 64. We're left with 192. And remember, you are not done yet because this is b squared, and we don't want b squared. We need to solve for just b. So to undo a squared number, you just take the square root of both sides. Okay? So the square root and the square cancel each other out. So I'm just left with b equals the square root of 192. Use your calculator, square root 192. I'm left with 13 point. And then here, you're going to have to do a special rounding. So this 6 will bump up that 5. So this will be 13.86, about. Okay? So B, this right here, this side is 13 about. So when I squiggle equal signs, that means approximately or about 13.86 inches. So when I have a side that's 8 inches, and another side, the hypotenuse, that's 16 inches, then the other leg will be 13.86 inches. All right? So I try to keep this video short. It's 7 minutes. If you guys have any questions, you'll let me know, but you've been doing very well. And you're just going to be doing a Desmos activity again. Bye.